Welcome to Quays News at 4 p.m. I'm Matthew Lansley.
And I'm Josh Kelly. Coming up, over 100,000 drivers have been fined in 6 months after controversial improvements to Oxford Road.
Manchester City Council have finally revealed the list of roads they'll be resurfacing this year.
And Salford is now home to one of the latest advancements in rehabilitation technology.
And in other news now, Manchester City Council are facing pressure after over 100,000 drivers were fined in 6 months since so-called improvements were made to the layout of Oxford Road.
The prominence of signs pointing out the changes has come into question as drivers have found themselves unwittingly driving along new bus lanes. Victoria Kalu reports.
Bus lanes, we've all been past them, but there's one particular bus lane that is causing a lot of controversy in Manchester. Manchester City Council have raked in over £9 million just from fining motorists from this. We drove through the area and the signs were not clear, so should people have a right to be annoyed?
Yeah, we were just like stuck on the road and you can't do anything. So he's just sat there going, right, well, I'm going to get fined now for like 60, 90 quid. And not to mention the amount of revenue they're getting from that, they're not sorting out the roads anywhere else. So like there's potholes everywhere, people are ruining the vehicles and they're getting, I don't know how much.
I don't think they've informed us very well, and I also seen an article in the newspaper over the weekend. Is it millions that they've gained by it already in parking tickets? It's just like, it's ludicrous.
I spoke to Councillor Chris Paul to get his view on this.
Buses usually have 50 or 100 people in, so giving buses priority in that way is a good idea. I think the signage is pretty good, and in every case where they introduce a bus gate or a restriction like that, they do run a period of several weeks beforehand, checking that the signage is okay, and giving people letters that basically say from X date, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ahead, if you do this again, you will get a fine. So thousands of people got letters, I think 25,000 or more people got letters saying you have gone through this area that you shouldn't go through, you're not going to get a fine this time, but if you do it again, you will.
Many people have obviously been affected by this, but it doesn't seem like the bus lanes will be changing anytime soon. This is Victoria Kalu reporting for Quays News.
Some breaking news this afternoon, and Cuba's parliament has elected Miguel Diaz-Canel as the nation's president. The new president will be Cuba's first leader not to be a member of the Castro family.
And in other news now, emergency services in the northwest are offering free life support classes to local communities in order to prepare people for unpredictable situations. Our health correspondent Paloma Gomez reports.
The weather's getting brighter in Manchester, and no doubt residents of Salford will be out enjoying the sun. However, North West Emergency Services are making sure people stay safe this summer. They're visiting local community centres and giving free CPR and AED training to local residents. Here's what a few had to say.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that should be done. Everybody should learn it, I think, especially kids in schools and things like that. Be a good idea.
I think it's a good idea, certainly, for as many people as possible to receive some kind of basic medical training in resuscitation and just generally how to look after people should they have certainly something more minor, nothing too serious obviously, but yeah, I think that's a really good idea, definitely.
This is a beginner-friendly 2-hour-long course. Less than 10% of cardiac arrest victims will survive. That's why the North West Emergency Services are urging more people to participate in these free courses. I spoke to Anna from the North West Emergency Services team about why it's so important for more people to be able to perform CPR on others. Here's what she had to say.
People need to come to courses like this because it's very easy to save somebody's life if their heart's stopped. If you have a cardiac arrest out of hospital, you've got less than 10% chance of survival. If somebody knows what to do, if they can use the AED and do CPR, then your chances of survival increase to 70%. So you can't make the situation any worse if somebody's had a cardiac arrest. Just trying will help.
Paloma Gomez, Quays News.
Downing Street has announced proposals that could see plastic straws and cotton buds banned from sale in England by 2020 in an attempt to protect ocean life from plastic pollution. Our environment correspondent Danielle McHugh joins us in the studio now. So Danielle, what exactly is the Prime Minister hoping to get from this proposal?
So there was a meeting earlier today and Theresa May is encouraging other Commonwealth countries to reduce the amount of marine plastic and plastic waste. Currently, there are around 8.5 billion plastic straws being thrown away in the UK every year, and the Environment Secretary, Michael Gove, was speaking on BBC Radio 4's Today programme and just discussing how the consultation today was about what is the best way to get rid of plastic straws, plastic stirrers and cotton wool buds.
So what's the reaction to this proposal been like?
So Greenpeace and Friends of the Earth have been really pleased with the announcement. They said it's a major step forward. And also festivals are currently getting on board as well. Around 60 this year in the summer have agreed not to use plastic straws. And the organisations have said more action does need to take place, but it is a step in the right direction.
Danielle, thank you very much.
After 44 years, Manchester radio station Key 103 is to begin broadcasting nationally and to be renamed Hits Radio. The station will also undergo changes to its presenter lineup. Our media correspondent Beth Hemmings has more.
Manchester's Key 103 has been the beating heart of the North's radio since 1974, but the station is set for some huge changes following a multi-million-pound rebranding from Bauer Media. One of the most impactful changes set to be happening on June 4th is perhaps the plans to expand the station to reach a national level, which means an additional expected 55% of the UK will be reached by the Bauer City network. But do these changes mean that the station will lose its Mancunian authenticity?
Key 103, possibly as a brand, was starting to lose its stickiness for the audience. It's probably the way to put it. And the Hits Radio does what it says on the tin. So
I also think that it will gift really good opportunities for other ways of making revenue. It's a great example of how it can all tie together when you have a clear proposition. You know, it's focusing on an audience that it knows that it's targeting. It involves people who are familiar. It involves good ideas. It's led by a good idea, and there's a commercial incentive to it as well. And there's a commercial opportunity and an opportunity for that radio station to make revenue.
The changes happening on June 4th will make Key 103 the first to broadcast nationally out of Manchester. Since the station's launch as Piccadilly Radio 44 years ago, the station has undergone a few name changes, and this time Key 103 will become the Hits Radio. Along with the name change, the station will also change its frequency and presenting schedules.
My position is going to change, and things are still up in the air, and I think there's a lot of people still to kind of work out, you know, what's going to happen. But it's an incredibly exciting opportunity, and I think it's an incredibly exciting proposition. You know, I think it makes a lot of sense if you think about the way that commercial radio is shaping itself.
So whether the changes to make Key 103 a national station will take away the Mancunian charm is still to be discovered. But perhaps these changes will give Manchester radio a bigger pin on the national map. Beth Hemmings, Quays News.
It's been Manchester's tallest building since 2006, but the Beetham Tower is going to be overshadowed by a wave of skyscrapers being built across the city. The tallest project, Trinity Islands, will reach 67 storeys on the land that used to be the home to Coronation Street, while the new Victoria development will see 520 homes built next to Victoria Station.
And in other news, Princess Street has reopened after unstable chemicals were found at the University of Manchester yesterday. Several buildings were evacuated and roads were closed while police disposed of the hazardous substance. And in other news now, tributes have been paid to Dale Winton, who died yesterday at the age of 62. The TV presenter was best known for Supermarket Sweep and Hole in the Wall. Celebrity tributes include Graham Norton and Davina McCall. Comedian David Walliams, close friends to the star, said he was heartbroken to hear the news and described him as outrageous and hilarious.
Joe Doherty has today's sports news now. Joe.
Thank you, Josh. And on to sport, and this weekend's FA Cup semi-finals see Manchester United take on Tottenham Hotspur in a high-profile clash between two of the country's top sides. In addition to this, last season's runners-up Chelsea take on relegation-threatened Southampton in a repeat of last weekend's clash, which saw Chelsea claim a 3-2 win. Meanwhile, in the Premier League, newly crowned champions Manchester City take on Swansea City, whilst Liverpool face a trip to struggling West Brom. And of course, controversial former England midfielder Joey Barton has been appointed Fleetwood Town manager. He will start his new job one day after his suspension for gambling has been lifted. Back to you, Josh.
Thanks, Joe. Well, it's been a lovely day today.
Yes, far too nice to be stuck in a TV studio. Here's Vanessa Akpan with the forecast.
That hundreds of us have been outside here enjoying this lovely sunshine.
I know it's up for me. Making sure I'm not in too deep. Bursting on my feet.
weather will continue into the weekend, but by Saturday we can expect showers and breeze from Greater Manchester. So make sure you make the most of the couple of days of sun. Good luck to anyone taking part in the London Marathon on Sunday. Organisers think it could be the hottest one in world record. So take care if you're competing.
That's it for this afternoon's programme. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Goodbye.